you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with integrated behavioral health services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I'm joined here by Anthony Rubik and Marissa Cross, two of the assistant sports editors. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing well.
That's
doing
great.
all right. Kind of battling a bit of a cold, so not feeling the best, but we're here.
Well, I'm glad you decided to come in, and because first segment, we're going to be going over the story you wrote last week. It was National Women's Day in Sports. What was it? Was it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
It was on Wednesday, yeah. So you wrote a story on that. So can you kind of just touch like over the top, just like what you did outline?
Yeah, for sure. So, like you said, Wednesday was National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, and so Husker Athletics hosted the first annual day or event to celebrate that day. So it was at the Hawk Center. It was only an hour, so it was a pretty quick event, but it was just open to the public, and there's a bunch of female student athletes just on the practice field from different sports, and girls and some boys too just could go in and interact with the athletes, talk with them. All the sports had different activities depending on the sports. So like rifle had, little play rifles that they could show the kids, and gymnastics had like some gymnastics mats and just fun things like that. And they could mingle and get autographs, and it was a really cool event.
Yeah. What would you say was your favorite part writing the story?
Yeah, I was just really excited about the story just to talk with the different student athletes and the people that attended the event. This is the first time doing the event, and I think it's really cool that they're celebrating this holiday and celebrating women's sports, especially at Nebraska where women's sports is so big. And so, yeah, I think just my favorite part was just listening to the different perspectives of people and their stories. Talked to a lot of different people who had different reasons for being there. I talked to some like a mother-daughter duo from Kearney. They drove all the way from Kearney to go to this event because they grew up watching Husker volleyball and they really wanted to meet the athletes, and they were able to do that. And they talked about how much Lexi Rodriguez and all the team inspired them, and so that was really cool to hear. And it was just really, I kind of put this in article. It was just really like heartwarming to see these little girls see their idols and see people that they look up to, and this event may have inspired them to pursue a sport or show them that like women are coming up in sports and are being noticed more. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Can you talk about like how excited were the athletes to, be there, meet some of the fans, and just, how special was the moment for them?
Yeah, that's a good question. They were just really excited. I was able to talk to a lot of different athletes, and they were all just excited to be there. They had a long day of classes and practice and all that, but they still, made time to be there because they knew how important this was. Um, just as a holiday, and to all these people that showed up, they knew it was important to show up for them, and so they all, had big smiling faces and a lot of enthusiasm, and yeah, they were just excited to be there. I talked to Josh Shelley. She kind of put it best with her quote that I put in the article. She said, "I think we have a special platform that we can use positively and influence young kids to follow their dreams. Today's about people who have paved the way for us and celebrating women. I think it's super special for people to come out and celebrate." So yeah, she just likes to um, or find every opportunity to use her platform for good and to inspire others. And so I think that was kind of the sentiment from all the players that I talked to.
Were there any coaches that were there?
Um, I don't believe so. No, I don't think there was any coaches, at least that I saw. There's a lot of people, but it was at least 5 or 6 athletes from each sport. A lot of the women's basketball team was there. Good portion of the volleyball team. So there's a lot of athletes, but I don't think there's any coaches.
Okay. Where was the event held at?
Yeah, so it was inside the Hawks Championship Center on the football practice field, where they did the rule presser when he first came, and they do a lot of stuff there. But it was just an open practice field.
Was it a pretty big turnout?
Yeah, I would say for its first event, I would say it was a pretty good turnout. I couldn't find an exact number or anything, but there's a lot of people. And when I got there, around 15 minutes till the doors opened, there's already a line forming almost out the door. So people showed up early and people kind of came and went. Like I said, it was only an hour, so it was pretty quick. But yeah, there's a lot of people.
What was your favorite person you interviewed?
Yeah, that's a good question. I talked to a lot of interesting people. Do you mean student athletes or
anybody?
Guest or okay,
Anybody?
Yeah. I think that mother-daughter duo that I mentioned from Kearney was really interesting. They were the only people from out of town that I talked to. Most people that I talked to were just from Lincoln, and so they kind of brought a unique perspective coming from way out of town and stuff. And the girl, she played volleyball and basketball, and just looked up to all the players, and so it was fun just listening to her. And she was just so excited to be there. And I also mentioned Josh Shelley, Skylar Pierce, the new freshman volleyball recruit who just enrolled early. She was fun to talk to. She had a lot to say, just about her time here so far and how cool this event was. She talked a lot about volleyball day and how inspiring that day was, and how that just motivated her even more to do well in her upcoming season and all of that, and the importance of National Girls and Women's Day and all of that. So I really enjoyed my conversation with her.
Yeah, it's really cool. If you guys want to check out the story, it's on DailyNebraskan.com. It was posted last week, so still pretty recent article. Make sure to go check it out. One last question. Do you think, is this going to be a every year event thing that that UNL puts on now? Do you think?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely, especially with how much women's sports at Nebraska are getting
Mhm.
noticed and how well they're doing. Just like in general how they're doing with like volleyball and basketball, it's doing well. And I mentioned the article soccer like had a historic season, and so there's been a lot of success in women's sports here,
Yeah.
and so I think they definitely will continue this event, and Nebraska has always been good at celebrating women's sports, so
Mhm.
I think they will, and they also just had like a Title IX event for the first time recently too, so they're trying out a lot of different events to recognize women's sports, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's really neat because I mean, in Nebraska, women's sports is really big. I mean, obviously volleyball, how good the volleyball team is here in Nebraska, but then again, the women's soccer team had a really big run in the tournament. They were really fun to watch. The women's basketball team just took down number 2 Iowa. We're going to touch on that next segment. Then softball getting a lot of buzz with Jordy Ball there. So there's a lot of excitement around all these teams, and I think it's just really cool with how big of a turnout then I guess that from what I'm hearing, how big of a turnout it was. And yeah, I just think it's really cool that UNL was able to put this together.
Yeah, me too. I haven't really heard of it from other schools doing it. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure there's probably other ones somewhere, but I have a friend that works at the Daily Texan, and she what's it called? Quoted my tweet on Twitter
Yeah.
or X about the event, and she just talked about how like this should be the standard, like these events should be the
Mhm.
standard, and how it was so cool that Nebraska was doing this. And she told me that like she hopes like Texas does something like this at some point, and so that was really cool to hear that this event and the things that Nebraska is doing for women's sports is getting noticed, and so yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yes. Just another thing kind of about the reading the article that you wrote and then just seeing the pictures from the event. I really just liked how all the athletes were just so invested in this. I thought that was really neat. I mean, because when you think of these players like Jazz Shelley, Lexi Rodriguez, these
Mhm.
are a lot of young girls' idols. And they usually, if they get a chance to see him, they're seeing him play at PBA, play at Devaney, play at Hibner Stadium. They're not getting a chance to kind of interact with them and then just have these conversations, play these games with them. So I really just think this is such a cool event that Nebraska put on. And yeah, I think that's kind of going to become the norm from here on out. And I expect other schools around the country to kind of adopt this kind of event and incorporate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's pretty rare to be able to meet like a player like Lex Rodriguez or someone like
Mhm.
after a game, let alone like spend an entire hour with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just pretty awesome. Like one of the first things I noticed at the event was the volleyball team. I like formed a circle, and they were just passing the volleyball between them and different people who just came up to join. And yeah, that was just like a big moment for a lot of these girls probably, and maybe even a once in a lifetime thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the once in a lifetime thing, I mean, not only, I mean, the reason volleyball day in Nebraska was so big is because there was 92,000 people that were able to go to the game. Usually when it's in Devaney, the season tickets get sold out pretty fast. So not everyone is, able to go to a Husker volleyball game. But at volleyball day, there was a bunch of people who had like never really gone to a volleyball game that went. And it was just cool for them to be able to watch that match. But what this allowed them to do is actually meet the athletes. Like not a lot of times do fans like that get to interact with athletes. So it's really cool that UNL is kind of one of the first schools to do this. And it would be a really neat thing, if this kind of starts a chain of other schools trying to implement this. Because I mean, like I've said before, if you give women's sports the platform, there's an audience. And this events like this is how you reach that audience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was definitely a big thing about with volleyball day and just in general with that. If you get them the platform, then people will come, and we've seen that like since then too with like the basketball game in the Iowa
Mhm.
football stadium and stuff like that. So there's definitely a demand, and we just saw a sold out record too, and at Pinnacle, which I'm sure we'll touch on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. It's just women's sports, they're getting celebrated now more than ever, which is just an amazing thing to see. And it's a sign of things to come. It seems year by year, more and more eyes are getting put on it. And it just goes to show like the Nebraska Iowa game yesterday.
Yeah.
We're talking about Super Bowl Sunday, probably one of the, if not the biggest day in television
Oh yeah.
for the whole year. And
yeah.
it gets kicked off with Iowa versus Nebraska women's basketball on Fox national TV. That was just extremely cool to see. Happened back for the national championship volleyball game that was on ABC. So yeah, it's just really awesome to see women's sports being celebrated and just put on this grand stage that it deserves to be on. It is seen obviously with in person the volleyball day in Nebraska. I still think about that day, just that moment. It was such a spectacle. It was just really awesome to be a part of, and just seeing a volleyball game in front of 92,000 people, just a very special moment. And yeah, Iowa basketball also had the game at Kinnick Stadium. It just really shows that there's definitely a platform. Women's sports has its audience. It will have its audience going forward because it is just fun to watch. Great to see. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, make sure to go check out the article on DailyNebraskan.com. Marissa wrote it. It was a really good piece. So make sure to check that out. It was posted last week. But with that, we still got a few more minutes until we want to throw it to break. So I kind of want to touch on the Super Bowl just a little bit because it was kind of a big deal. We don't really have to go as much into the game as much. If I want to ask this, do you guys want to go more into the game or the halftime show? I want like which
Either
one?
one, honestly.
Either one.
Do halftime.
Okay. All right. Halftime. All right. You know what? I want to get your thoughts. How good do you think Usher did? Just basic question.
I think he did good. I mean, I've seen a lot of hate for the halftime show, which I don't know. I think is a little unwarranted. I mean, I feel like at the beginning, the microphone was kind of bad. Like you couldn't really hear him at the start. And to go around with just all the dancing he was doing kind of maybe made it hard to follow along. But overall, like, I think it was fine. I didn't think it was the greatest halftime show ever, but it was far from the worst in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I was pretty disappointed that Justin Bieber didn't show up.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of hype around him potentially being there,
He was
but
at the game too.
I know
Yeah.
he was just watching from his suite. But
So sad.
but yeah, I thought there's a lot of cool like spectacle with it, like the lights and all and the stage and all of that. But yeah, like Anthony said, I think the audio was definitely an issue, which I think it kind of was last year too. I think audio's just always kind of been an issue with that, but. Yeah, overall, I think it was pretty good, but yeah, definitely not the greatest we've seen.
All right, so
but he's sorry, I was just gonna say one more thing. But he's a good performer. There's no doubting that.
Oh yeah.
He knows his stuff. He knows how to do it for sure.
All right, I might go on a little bit of a tangent, so I'm gonna have to watch the clock because I only got like 5 minutes.
Let's hear it.
So, I was very disappointed in the beginning, because of the mic quality. The mic that he had that like wasn't the handheld, that was just like attached to his like headset or whatever. It was really bad. Like you could not hear him, especially with a performer like Usher when he has like a higher voice. It's not, the microphone's not going to pick it up as well. And then you combine that with him dancing and the music is really loud. It was kind of hard to actually hear him. If you go back and watch the show though on YouTube, they like turn all the mics up. They like make the audio really good. So when I rewatched it on YouTube, like the show was definitely was better because like I was very disappointed at the beginning because the mic quality was just not that good. And he also, the first songs he did weren't really his best. I mean, they were okay. I thought it was really cool when Alicia Keys came out. Besides, her voice cracked on the first note that she sang. And they also edited that on YouTube, which I thought was really weird. Like literally on they made her look good, which is what you're supposed to do, I guess. And then so I thought she did a good job though. And then when Ludacris, Will.i.am,
Lil Jon
was awesome. He brought the energy.
Oh, yeah.
I was really disappointed. I was really wanting Justin Bieber, but I'm not going to base it off that. I thought who he brought on was really good. Alicia Keys was good. Like I mentioned, all the other guys were really good. Ludacris, Lil Jon, they were awesome. He didn't do DJ Got Me Falling in Love. I was really disappointed in that because that's like one of his more popular ones. I was kind of wanting Pitbull to come on and to have that one. Oh my God, he only sang that one for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
one of his more
iconic.
popular ones.
I thought he was gonna start with that song.
Same.
Like,
That would have been so hype. But like there was that one part, I don't remember what song it was, but he like told the crowd to like sing it, and then like nobody sang it because nobody knew the lyrics. Because it was like one of those other songs. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. But I mean, I thought he did. Like the performance was good. Like the performance was definitely like, the theatrics, how it looked was definitely better than last year's with Rihanna. Rihanna just kind of sat up there and sang banger after banger, which was awesome because I like a lot of Rihanna's songs. But you knew Usher didn't have as many, those top hits. So you knew he was going to have to put on more of a show. But there was some top hits he just really didn't even like go into. Like, Somebody I Love, forgetting the one he had with Justin Bieber. That's Somebody I Love. DJ Got Me Falling in Love. Like, those are two of his better songs. He didn't even do those. And then, oh my God, he only did that for like 15 seconds. It was just, I don't know. It was weird to me that he didn't do his most popular songs.
Was it Somebody to Love?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the one with Justin Bieber. And then there was, I don't remember, what year was it? There was a video circulating that I kept seeing on TikTok when Justin Bieber and Usher performed Oh My God live. That one was real, like, everyone was like, we have to reenact
like
this.
that dance at the end when they're like,
oh yeah,
dancing in sync.
Oh yeah. See,
yeah,
that
would have been great.
That's what I wanted so much. Okay, I'm a Justin Bieber fan, so I was really disappointed. But nah, the last one with it was a good performance. He like wasn't singing half the song though, which was kind of weird to me. Like he was more focused on dancing than actually singing.
Or roller skating.
That was I like that one was neat. Like that was a nice touch. It was just weird because like that's what the song he did for Oh My God, and then it was like 15 seconds of him skating around, and then they're like, okay, we're done. Now we're gonna sing Yeah, and then Lil Jon did Turn Down for What. When I saw he was in the crowd, I was like, oh my gosh, it's getting the energy is finally here. But yeah, that's all the thoughts I have. If you guys have anything else you want to say.
Good show. Again, could have been probably better, but overall, I thought it was worthy of the halftime spot.
Yeah.
Rate it. I want to rate it out of 10. Everyone rate it out of 10.
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
I'll say 7 just because of like the lack of DJ Guys Falling in Love and Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5. I did like the band, the marching band or whatever. I thought that was kind of a nice touch. So I'll give it a 7.5.
I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Because of the mic issues and everything. I didn't really like some of the song selections he did, which was a little weird, but his performance was fine. I just like that the beginning of it was really dead, in my opinion. Like it took a while for it to finally like get going, be like, okay, this is an Usher halftime show. Like that's in my opinion. Like at the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, this is not that. I had like a 3 out of 10, but then when it got to like the final 3 songs, I was like, okay, that's pretty good. 5 out of 10. I would definitely say Rihanna. I liked Rihanna's last year better. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did as well. I mean, Rihanna's just one of the best artists of all time. She had songs where I like was going in expecting like a whole set list of songs that she was gonna play, only for her not to play those songs and then just have a banger that I just completely forgot about.
Yeah.
She has
so many bangers.
She has so many. I mean, there's like a bunch with Eminem that she did that, but like she didn't even sing them because she only sings like the refrain or whatever it's called. So, but
and she was also pregnant too at the time.
Yeah,
crazy.
If she would have been at the halftime show, like 5-8 years ago, it would have been even better because she was definitely limited with what she could do. But I still liked it. I'm excited to see who they bring on next year. I know NFL wanted Taylor Swift to be on this one.
They've asked her like a million times.
I mean, she's bigger than the halftime show though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, because they don't even get paid for it, do they?
No.
They don't even get paid for it. So it's not like she needs it.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't need the publicity. And
the halftime show needed her more than she needed it.
Honestly.
Which is kind of crazy. I mean, we went from, this is what's disappointing me. I was like, Usher did good, but like it not that long ago was Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Coldplay, like Katy Perry, like all these like iconic performances. And then ever since it's been like the Apple Music halftime show, whatever, I don't know, like the selection, I don't know. I was like, the Rihanna selection wasn't bad, but you knew it's like she hadn't even come out with an album in a while and she was pregnant. So, I mean, probably wasn't the best time to have her do it, but I mean, it wasn't bad. But I don't know. Some of the selection these last few years I've been a little disappointed in.
I like the one a couple years back with like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one. I feel like, honestly, there's a lot. Like, obviously, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, 50 Cent was in it. That was just a very, very stacked cast.
Yeah.
Stacked
Kendrick Lamar should have even been in there, but that's a hot take.
Whoa. That is a hot take.
He didn't do that good.
But, like, all 5 of them were great. It's just they didn't have enough time, obviously, with it having to be like 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah, 12 minutes. I mean, yeah, Eminem only sang one song.
Yeah,
you could tell.
You did lose yourself. Like,
you could tell who the fans were wanting. Like, everyone was like hyped when it was when 50 Cent came on. Like, everyone was like, that was hype. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. But when it was Eminem, everyone went crazy because he's like the biggest icon, I feel like, in the rapping world. But we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to touch on the women's basketball win over Iowa. We have Ben Beecham calling in, who covered the game, did takeaways. So we're going to get his thoughts and his reaction from the game. All that and more is coming right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. They encourage those who go out to make smart decisions behind the wheel or plan accordingly to have someone lined up for a safe ride home. This important message comes to you from Bart and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialist here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
Gentlemen, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Don't be that guy running to the store for flowers and a card on your way home. Hey, Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. We have great Valentine's gifts in store now. And if you spend $99, we'll throw in a free bouquet of a dozen roses. Give her what she really wants this year and let us do the rest. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, your hometown jeweler since 1905 in Lincoln and Grand Island. Online at sartorheyman.com.
February is National Pet Dental Health Month. At Parkview Animal Hospital, their skilled doctors and staff can help identify and treat a wide range of dental issues. If your pet is showing signs of bad breath, abnormal chewing or drooling, reduced appetite, or refusal to eat, now is a great time to speak to a member of their team and help get your pet back on track to a healthy lifestyle. Call Parkview Animal Hospital today at 402-423-6939 to learn more about their discounts on dental cleanings, procedures, and hygiene products.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln has served the youth of our community for over 50 years.
50 years?
50 years.
They've done what for 50 years?
They've prepared students from K through 12.
K through 12?
Yeah. Junior Achievement prepares students on financial literacy and entrepreneurship work.
That's amazing.
I know. That's why when you fill up on Tuesdays, UStop will donate 2 cents of every gallon sold to the Junior Achievement of Lincoln.
Count me in.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Why are New Year's resolutions always about getting to the gym more or dieting? We fail ourselves before the first month of the year is already over. Why not resolve to eat better, tastier foods in 2024? Look no further than Fuhrer's cheese spread. Stop eating your apples, vegetables, crackers, and chips plain. Give them some flavor. Fuhrer's cheese spread awakens your taste buds. Now that's how you start a new year. Find your container of Fuhrer's cheese spread today at your local grocery store. What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer. Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben, Anthony, Marissa Steele here with you. And now on the Owl VIP line, we have Ben Beecham, who was at the game on Sunday before the Super Bowl. Ben, first of all, do we got you?
Yeah.
Awesome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
That's awesome. So you were
I
at...
think we can hear Ben.
Can you not hear him?
He's very quiet.
Yeah.
I can hear him just fine, but all right. So Ben, you were at the game. You did takeaways. Can you kind of talk about what your biggest takeaways from the big win for Nebraska was, and just what it was like being at that game?
Yeah, it's really just Nebraska stepped up on the big stage. They played their best and most complete game of the season. Everyone stepped up. Jazz Shelley had 23 points. She was a star, hit the clutch game-winning three. Markowski and Pospo stepped up. Logan Nisley was really big for them late. She had 5 points in the last few minutes that really got them going on that comeback. Kendall Moriarty, I think she was the main X factor. She stepped up in the final quarter and took on the challenge of guarding Caitlin Clark. Held her to 0 points, which is unprecedented almost. And it was just Nebraska executing on all fronts when it mattered.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was just such a big win for Nebraska. Caitlin Clark was trying to, I was trying to get her to break the record along with getting the win. And what it kind of seemed like was Iowa was maybe more concerned with trying to get her to break the record than, actually trying to win the game. What did you kind of think? Did you see any fault from, coaching standpoint, trying to force it to Caitlin Clark a little bit too much? What did you see?
Oh, Caitlin Clark, I don't really see it that way. I think Caitlin Clark, she's obviously the best player in women's college basketball. She shoots a lot because she makes a lot. I really don't think she was forcing her shot. I mean, any shot is a good shot for her, really. Post-game, she talked about it a lot. She really doesn't think about the record. So I really don't think that played a huge factor in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That was what a lot of people's thoughts were after it. What did you think was Nebraska's biggest X factor to be able to pull off the upset?
I think the crowd was really big for them. I mean, that's the biggest crowd I think they've had ever. And late, they got a lot of momentum, and the crowd really played into it. There was a lot of Iowa fans there, but they played against that early. And then, like I said earlier, Kendall Moriarty in that box-and-one defense, face guarding Caitlin Clark the whole fourth quarter was huge for them. Really messed her up.
Can you kind of point to one facet or statistic, that really helped Nebraska make that second half comeback, whether it was the 3-point shooting, whether it was rebounding, not turning the ball over? What was kind of the main reason that you think, statistically, that Nebraska was able to come back?
I think it was their 3-point shooting. They went 3 of 6 in the final quarter, but the momentum when they made their threes really turned the tide of the game. They also went 8 of 10 from the free throw line in the final quarter, 8 of 15 from the field. They really just stepped up in that, and just shooting wise.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, if you're going to be a team like Iowa, Nebraska's going to have to shoot the ball well, and they did. Can you kind of talk about, Jazz Shelley's performance? hitting the clutch 3-pointer to give Nebraska the lead. And she kind of did the "you can't see me" thing, but Jazz Shelley went on social media, said that's not what that actually was. She wasn't making a gesture, to what Caitlin Clark usually does. They said that's their face guard defense. But other than that, can you kind of talk about just how big Jazz Shelley was down the stretch?
Yeah, she really took on the challenge of going shot for shot with Caitlin Clark, the best scorer in women's college basketball. There was a stretch, I think late in the second quarter, where she hit a three, and then Caitlin Clark went down and matched her. But Jazz Shelley, she wasn't scared. She went down on the other side and launched a three, drained it, and really kept them in it. And she was just not scared the whole game. I mean, it takes a lot of confidence to take that shot late in the game down to, she was just on top of her game. That's probably her best game all year. She played 34 minutes and was just the X factor, obviously, for them.
Yeah, I mean, Jazz Shelley definitely, one of the Nebraska's better players on the team. She had a huge performance. Without her, they probably wouldn't have been able to pull it off. I kind of want to talk about, what do you feel like, what does this win do for Nebraska? Obviously, this is a huge resume building win for Nebraska women's basketball team, but how do you think this changes the future for Nebraska this season, the direction that they're going to be heading? Because they were kind of on a skid. They'd lost 3 of their last 4 going into Iowa. They was kind of on a rough patch, but they got a huge win against Iowa. What does this mean now for this season?
I think it gives them their confidence back. It gives them their swagger back. I mean, losing to Rutgers at home, the worst team in the Big Ten, that's just so demoralizing. They'd lost 3 of their last 5 coming into the game. And I really think this win just sets them back on track to making the tournament. They were right on the bubble before the game. I think if they just keep playing their style of basketball, this win will keep them in the tournament.
Yeah, Nebraska was definitely needing a win like this because, like you said, the Rutgers loss was honestly maybe one of the worst losses for Amy Williams in this Nebraska team, not just this year, but, over her career at Nebraska. I mean, that was a really bad loss. Nebraska was needing a pick-me-up. They got it with this Iowa win. Coming up next, they have Ohio State, another ranked team. How are you feeling about that game now that, Nebraska's shown they could beat a team like Iowa, and if you can beat a team like Iowa, you can kind of beat almost anybody.
Yeah, I really think that they have a bigger challenge for this one because they had the home environment against Iowa. Now they're going on the road. They've had struggles on the road. So I think this is a really big test to see if the Iowa game was real or if it was just a fluke.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing with Nebraska men's team when they beat Purdue. It was like, okay, Nebraska beat Purdue. Where's that other top resume win? That's kind of, it kind of seems like an outlier, but then Nebraska did it against Wisconsin. This is kind of another chance to be like, okay, was it a fluke? If Nebraska also gets it done against Ohio State, they're for real. I want to touch on, though, what I thought was kind of the most fascinating part of, just not even the game, just the whole day for Nebraska was the post-game press conference. So what I saw was, Nebraska stormed the court, had their party on the court, and it was like, that was 20 minutes. And usually for the post-game press conferences, the away team is supposed to traditionally go first. Apparently, from what I heard, Iowa, by the time Nebraska was done with their storming the court and partying on the court, by the time Nebraska got back went to the media room, Iowa still wasn't there. So the Nebraska SID had Nebraska go, and then when Iowa showed up, they were going to just go right after, right? They were going to go as soon as they got there. But then that had Iowa's head coach not very happy. You were actually there, though, Ben. Could you talk about just how crazy that post-game press conference was and what happened?
Yeah, I really didn't question the Nebraska players going first. I just thought the Iowa players probably had a lot. Caitlin Clark probably had some post-game press, and they probably want to talk to her. So then they start going. I see Caitlin Clark kind of look in, and then that's when I hear the yelling. So originally I thought Caitlin Clark was the one who started yelling, but then I realized it was their coach, and it was just really weird. Obviously Markowski stopped talking, and they had to close the doors. They had to shut her out. And then, no one really acknowledged it actually after that. They just kind of kept going.
Yeah, it was just such a weird incident. Like that never, that just never happens, at a post-game press conference like that. Anthony, Marissa, what are your thoughts on Iowa's head coach after in that post-game?
Yeah, that was just obviously a bizarre moment. I mean, just the soundbite of that really went viral, and it shocked me. And I mean, I get it, like the Big Ten protocol, as she was saying.
It's not Big Ten protocol.
Yeah, but how they usually have it is the opposing team, the losing team goes first, or the opponent goes first, and then the home team afterwards. But again, it was a solid 15, 20 minutes after Nebraska won the game. They were on the court partying with the fans. It was a big win for them. That should have been more than enough time for Iowa to go have their media availability, have their press conference.
Yeah.
And then also, it was communicated by the Nebraska SID how if Nebraska were to be doing their post-game press conference and Iowa would come in, they would ask the Nebraska players and coach to leave and have Iowa fill in. And then once Iowa's done, Nebraska will resume that. So, like, it was, I think, an overreaction on Lisa Blotter.
I mean, it was a tough loss for them.
Yeah, it's a tough loss, but she definitely could have handled it better.
Yeah. I mean, you said Iowa had plenty of time, to get to the presser and all of that. And, oh, shoot, I just forgot what I was going to say. And then I know she also said, like, oh, I got a flight to catch and all that.
If she had a flight to catch, why wasn't she there earlier?
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's also in Iowa City, which probably isn't that long of a flight. I mean,
No.
she may have had another thing or whatever, but that's beside the point. I think it was kind of, a lot of emotion and a lot of just from the game and stuff that kind of spurred that reaction. But thankfully, Caitlin Clark kind of handled it with grace, and I thought her presser was, really good. She, didn't make excuses or, anything like that. And she even noted that, like, the noise didn't bother her and stuff like that. So I thought her reaction was a lot better.
Ben, can you kind of talk about just like how surprised, not just like, you, but in the whole media, just like, how did the SIDs handle it at Nebraska, when Iowa's coach is just kind of going, like, I want to say throwing a fit because that's kind of what she was doing. Can you kind of talk about just how Nebraska handled it and what they did?
Originally, I think he just tried to calm her down and get her to stop talking in the middle of their Nebraska press conference. And then eventually he had to step out and they had to close the door behind him. So, yeah, he really had a lot. He has plate full that day. So,
yeah, I mean, he said that it was going to, be a little messy because, Nebraska was going first. Iowa hadn't gotten there. Like, he said it was going to be a little messy, and it was probably more messy than he even thought it was going to be. Ben, can you just kind of, is there anything else you want to touch on with the game that you saw that you want to mention?
I think Amy Williams, this was her best coach game I think she's had all year. She made that bold decision to switch the box and one. She said she'd never even really used it at Nebraska, and she didn't even know she'd ever use it. And post-game, she talked about between the third and fourth quarter, when I asked her about what she said in the huddle, she said she didn't even really remember. She just really remembered talking about switching the defense and just locking in on each possession and taking the game one possession at a time. So I think really Amy Williams, she's had her ups and downs in Nebraska, but I think this is really a high point for her to just really lock in down 14 the fourth quarter and mount that comeback.
Yeah, with Nebraska's last loss, on the show said, is Amy Williams' job, in a little bit of jeopardy? Not saying she's going to be fired this season, but like, how much longer can she continue to, not have that much success? Maybe this win is the start of something really special for this Nebraska women's team. Ben, I really appreciate you coming and calling in on the show on the Owl VIP line. Ben, thank you as always, and have a good night.
Thank you for having me on. You have a good night too.
All right, that was Ben Meacham on the Owl VIP line. Marissa, Anthony, is there anything else you kind of want to add about the game?
Yeah, this is just kind of what Ben already said during his interview, but that fourth quarter, really, that could be a defining moment for Amy Williams and for Nebraska women's basketball. That was a defensive masterclass just implementing the box and one on Caitlin Clark. Obviously, she had 31 points in the first 3 quarters. I was thinking for sure she's going to break the record on Nebraska, but she ends up going scoreless. She shot 0 of 6 from the fourth. They just really made her uncomfortable, whereas maybe at the start of the quarter, she wasn't really trying to score the ball that much, but when it mattered most, she was just all out of sorts. Along with the rest of Iowa, Nebraska outscored them 27-10 in the final quarter. So just an outstanding quarter and just outstanding coaching from Williams.
Yeah, I was also going to mention that Shelly and Potts got Big Ten Weekly honors too.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about her a ton, but Potts obviously had a very good game. She did pretty well for most of the game. And then that fourth quarter really sparked Nebraska's continued run. And I think it was her 6th Big Ten Freshman of the Week award. So yeah, she's definitely getting noticed.
One last thing I want to say about the post-game press conference. So when Markowski was talking and she was like thanking her dad, and that was when she started yelling and saying, "This isn't Big Ten protocol. They're playing music during free throws, blah, 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 whatever." It kind of sucks that it had to be, right then and there. It couldn't have been, when they were talking about how they won the game or whatever. I think it just was really unfortunate that quote got messed up. And Markowski's dad, Amy Markowski, who's called in on the show before, not Daily Nebraska show, but Husker Rewind, that's on Sundays. He tweeted and said that he was kind of disappointed that was how it was. He wasn't mad or anything, but just saying that he was really looking forward to that shout out he's getting from his daughter, and it just got messed up by that moment.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was handled very well by Alexis Markowski. She just kind of went back to answering it, back to her response. But yeah, it's very unfortunate it happened at that time.
Definitely. So we got one more segment left on the Daily Nebraskan show, and we're going to touch on the men's basketball blowout win against Michigan. Both Nebraska basketball teams got the win. Men's basketball team was definitely an easier fashion. The game seemed over halfway through the first half. So we're kind of touch on that, though, to end the show right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with integrated behavioral health services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at gohogwild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. February is National Pet Dental Health Month. At Parkview Animal Hospital, their skilled doctors and staff can help identify and treat a wide range of dental issues. If your pet is showing signs of bad breath, abnormal chewing or drooling, reduced appetite, or refusal to eat, now is a great time to speak to a member of their team and help get your pet back on track to a healthy lifestyle. Call Parkview Animal Hospital today at 402-423-6939 to learn more about their discounts on dental cleanings, procedures, and hygiene products.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan Show for one last segment. Again, I'm Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, joined here by Anthony and Marissa, both of the assistant sports editors at the Daily Nebraska, Daily Nebraskan, UNL's independent student newspaper. We are going to finish off the show covering the men's basketball win over Michigan. I covered the game there. I was kind of excited to see if Nebraska would stomp them. They did. I honestly, I was at the game, but I stopped watching like halfway through the second half. So I can't say anything that happened, in the last like 12 minutes of the game because I just like really wasn't watching. I was writing my story, but I was there. And first half, it was defense. Defense was a huge reason Nebraska got off to just a huge lead, and they all set and both Bryce Williams post game and Hoiberg both said defense is what got him there. The offense was obviously firing on all cylinders, playing really well, but Nebraska just shut down Michigan. They get happy from the 3-point line, just like Nebraska. They're tied for second coming into this game. Michigan was tied for taking the second most 3-point attempts in the Big Ten. Nebraska number 1, obviously. So we knew it was going to be kind of a high 3-point shooting night. Michigan didn't shoot the ball that well and didn't take that many threes, to be honest, especially in that first half. Like, my favorite thing about what Nebraska did, like, I didn't really learn anything about this team from this game. I mean, Michigan beat Wisconsin, but Michigan was at home. And now Michigan having to come into PBA, a place where really no one can beat Nebraska. There was no expectation that they were going to win. Nebraska was supposed to win. They did. They won in pretty easy fashion. Kind of wiped the floor with Michigan. But at the beginning of the game, Nebraska really attacked the paint. And that was kind of my favorite thing. Josiah Alec, he got his fingerprints.
What a bounce back.
Yeah. He got he was negative 22 for the plus minus. He had like zeros for all of his stats besides the minutes that he played, pretty much. He just didn't. And Bryce Williams said in the post-game press conference, I wish it would have been Alec. I was kind of disappointed that Alec wasn't the one that they brought in for the post-game press conference. But Bryce said Josiah was mad about last game, and he said that he wanted to dominate this game, bring the energy, and he did. He brought the energy.
Right from the start. Yeah. I mean, the first possession of the game, Alec really just passed all his production from last game in one possession. He had 2 offensive rebounds and then an insane poster dunk to get Nebraska on the board. It was just, that really was just the start of a phenomenal first half from Nebraska. They went on a big scoring run. I think it was 29-3, a scoring run, because they were playing amazing defense on Michigan.
Yeah, I had it in my article.
They were connecting. They were connecting from their 3-pointers. And it got to a point, even at the end of the first half and kind of throughout the second half, Nebraska wasn't playing at such an elite level that they started out playing. And Michigan, they were trying to get back, but Nebraska just plays sound defense throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
Where that, no matter, they kept the lead at 20 the whole second half.
Yeah.
No matter how hard Michigan tried to break in on that.
Nebraska's, I've been kind of critical of their perimeter defense, and with Michigan being a 3-point shooting happy team, I was kind of thinking Michigan might, start off hot. Nebraska will kind of have to come back, but Nebraska should win. Nebraska just put their foot on their neck right away. I mean, right from the start, you knew who the better team was. You didn't have to watch any games at all. You could tell Nebraska was more physical. Nebraska out-rebounded Michigan. Finally, out-rebounded a team. I don't know the last time Nebraska out-rebounded a team. I'd have to look. I should have looked before the show, but it's been a while. Nebraska hasn't done it in a while. And Hoiberg has said this. I have said it. Rebounding battle and turnover battle. Those are the 2 things Nebraska needs to win. And they did both against Michigan. And that's why it was such an easy win for Nebraska, is because those are the 2 things that hurt Nebraska the most. I really don't care about their 3-point shooting percentage as much. If Nebraska only makes 20% of their threes, it's going to be tough for them to win. But even if they do that, if they win both the rebounding battle and the turnover margin, they're going to it's going to be close. They're actually going to be in it. It wasn't even Nebraska was attacking the paint at the beginning. When Nebraska built their huge 20-point lead, they only made 1 3. Only 1 3.
Wow.
It was Alec on the inside. Josiah Alec, first Nebraska's first offensive possession, he got 2 offensive rebounds, and then he slammed in the second one. He was like, screw this. I'm just going to put it in myself. And, I mean, I was really pleased with Alec. I was kind of wanting Hoiberg to start, maybe put Jamarcus Lawrence back in. Hoiberg stuck with Alec in the lineup. And that was another thing that's really intriguing me. That really intrigued me is that going to be the lineup the rest of the way? Alec, Gary, Mass, Tominaga, and Bryce Williams. That's Nebraska's probably biggest lineup. They can obviously put in a bigger lineup, but the biggest feasible lineup Nebraska can actually put out there.
Yeah, you saw it against Northwestern, them rolling out a lineup like that, and kind of the risk of doing so.
Mm-hmm.
But then against Michigan, you saw the reward of doing so. Obviously, great game out of Josiah Alec, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 of them offensive boards, which is something that Nebraska has really struggled with in the past. They had 16 against Michigan.
Yeah.
And it was just an all-around good game from the whole starting 5. I know Juwan Gary only had 5 points, but his effort was a lot more than that. He had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block, just filling up the stat sheet. And of course, you got Keisei Tominaga, 19 points.
Doing Tominaga things.
Yep. Bryce Williams really stepped up in the second half. Only had 2 points in the first half, led Nebraska with 11 in the second half. So just a very complete game from both sides.
Yeah, Nebraska beats Michigan pretty handily. Like you said, Alec had a big game. Tominaga, once again, had a really good game. I'm intrigued to see how this lineup, I want to see this lineup, though, do well against the top team, not Michigan. Like, for the rest of the season, does this win really change anything? This is already what we knew Nebraska could do, which is beat every team at home. Like, even this Penn State game that's coming up, even if they win it, it just really doesn't mean that much. They have to do it on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. I keep saying that over and over again. I feel like a broken record, but like everyone's thinking it. Everyone knows it. So we'll have to see if Nebraska can pull it out. But Nebraska handled Michigan. That's going to do it here on the Day One Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back here tomorrow, 11 to 12 at night. Joseph Meyer, the senior sports editor, will be here. And with that, we're out of here. Peace.
See ya.
Ever feel judged at the gym?
You don't know how to use the leg curl machine? Are you serious? This is your first day alive? No, it's okay. I love helping people during their first day on Earth.
At Planet Fitness, get energy without the judgment and join the judgment-free zone. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Get energized today.